Today's checklist includes 2 parks, 10 attractions, snacks, and sharing the best ways I know to get it all done. Hello, Mam Fam. Today, I'm splitting my time between 2 of the Walt Disney World parks, kicking things off here in Disney's Animal Kingdom and then hopping over to Disney's Hollywood Studios. My goal is to do 5 different attractions and have a snack in each of the parks. I will be using a combination of Genie Plus lightning lanes, fancy rides, standby, single rider, and sharing with you how to get the most done throughout your day, but also relax and enjoy yourself. It's been a while since we've done any of our Park Hopper series. We've done Epcot to Hollywood Studios, we've ended in Magic Kingdom, and I've asked you which other combinations do you want to see, and I heard a lot of people say Animal Kingdom into Hollywood Studios, so that's what we're doing today. Again, I have a list of 10 fun attractions across the 2 parks, plus gonna, of course, luxuriate and eat a little bit, and along the way, I will be sharing some of my best tips and tricks. We're gonna have an awesome day in the parks together, so let's get to it. We got a lot to do. But first, I have to explain Genie Plus, so buckle up, get your coffee. Rapid Fire Genie Plus 101, let's get into it. Genie Plus is Disney's paid way to skip the lines at many of the most popular attractions. There are actually 3 different kinds of Genie. There's Free Genie, which is just a feature in the app that provides you customizable itineraries, the tip board, the dining tip board, predictive wait times. There's Genie Plus, which starts at $15 per person per day, but it's gone upwards of $30 per person per day. All depends on the crowd levels. When you purchase Genie Plus, it allows you to reserve return times at over 40 of the most popular attractions across all 4 parks. And when you go to those attractions, you use the lightning lane, which is the physical entrance at those rides, to skip the majority of the queue. Then there are fancy rides, as I call them. Disney calls them individual lightning lane a la carte selections. These are attractions that are so special, so fancy that they are an individual cost to access that lightning lane and skip the line. Currently, here at Animal Kingdom, Avatar Flight of Passage is your fancy ride. At Hollywood Studios, it's Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. Over at Epcot, it's Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. And at Magic Kingdom, it's both Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron Light Cycle Run. You do not need to purchase Genie Plus to purchase fancy rides and vice versa. Genie Plus is available for purchase starting at midnight the day of, and regardless of where you're staying, resort guest or not resort guest, everyone with Genie Plus can book their first attraction starting at 7 a.m. that day. Fancy rides are a little bit different. Disney resort guests can book them starting at 7 a.m. each day. Non-resort guests can book them at the time that park opens. Additionally, you can only book 2 fancy rides per day. They can be across multiple parks, but there is a limit on how many you can book. Both fancy rides and Genie Plus can sell out. As well, with Genie Plus, individual attractions can sell out or run out of lightning lanes for the entire day. Once you've purchased Genie Plus, you can book and ride and use it on as many attractions as you'd like throughout the day. However, you cannot repeat attractions. So I use a theory that a lot of people call stacking, which is when you book a lot of lightning lanes and you come into the park prepared with several ready to go. I'll go through it in a second. An important thing to know about using Genie Plus, this is not fancy rides, Genie Plus attractions only. You can book your second attraction return time either once you've used your first one, if your first one expires because you don't use it for some reason, or after it's been 2 hours since you booked that first one, whichever comes first. Disney doesn't want you to book a popular attraction that doesn't have availability for several hours and then not be able to use the service until that time. There's another caveat to this, of course, because this is the most confusing system in the world. If you book a further one out at 7 a.m. when the system opens, that 120 minutes, that 2 hours, does not kick off until that park opens. So for example, this morning, shortly after 7 a.m., I booked Slinky Dog Dash for 2:10. Hollywood Studios opened up at 8:30 this morning, which meant I could not book another lightning lane until 10:30. 10:30, I went ahead and booked Kilimanjaro Safaris because that's the park I started with. At 10:30, I looked at what my options were, and because it's not super busy right now, I actually wasn't able to book anything else that I want to do in Hollywood Studios. Why? Because of the park hopping rule, currently in Walt Disney World, you cannot park hop until after 2 p.m., which means you cannot book a lightning lane in the park that you're going to second or third until after 2 p.m. because there wouldn't be a way for you to ride it. So when I looked at 10:30 a.m. to see what attractions I wanted to book, thinking Tower of Terror, thinking Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Toy Story Mania, none of them had return times past 2 p.m., so I wasn't able to book anything. So I booked Kilimanjaro Safaris. We're going to put a pin in Kilimanjaro Safaris because I ultimately ended up modifying it for a later time, but I'll explain that in a little bit. That is my favorite feature of Genie Plus right now. So again, coming into the park in the early afternoon, I walked in with 5 lightning lanes across the 2 different parks. Number 1, shortly after 7 a.m., I booked Slinky Dog Dash for later this afternoon. Number 2, when Disney's Hollywood Studios opened at 8:30 a.m., I booked Rise of the Resistance for later in the afternoon. Remember, as a non-resort guest, I'm not able to book a fancy ride until that park opens, which for Hollywood Studios today was 8:30 a.m. Number 3, at 9 a.m. when this park opened, I was able to book my fancy ride for Animal Kingdom, which is Flight of Passage. Number 4, at 10:30 in the morning, which is 2 hours after Hollywood Studios opened, using that 120-minute caveat, I was able to book Kilimanjaro Safaris. And then at 12:30, which was 2 more hours later, I was able to book my 5th attraction, my 3rd in this park, which is a meet and greet with Mickey and Minnie. Last thing I'll say before we start moving to our first attraction is that you don't actually have to keep track of all of this. Disney does it for you now, which is a great addition to Genie Plus several months ago at this point. Before, you had to remember when you were able to book things, and the way you could find it in the app was kind of convoluted. Now, at the top of your tip board, there's a big blue box, and it says when you can book your next Genie Plus Lightning Lane, and it gives you a time. So it's a lot easier because of that. Pro tip, set an alarm for that time if it is not immediately, so that way you are always booking one, and you always have a valid one throughout the day. That's one of the best ways to get the most out of your money, is to always have one, especially since you can modify now. But let's talk about modify while we're on the way to Kilimanjaro Safaris. I've said it before and I'll say it again. My least favorite thing about Genie Plus is how complicated it is. Obviously, I don't like the fact that you have to pay for it, but I really don't like how confusing and how many rules there are. But if you can master it, once you get the hang of it, it really can be quite helpful to get a lot done throughout your day. As we're headed over to Kilimanjaro Safaris, let's talk about the modify feature, which is one of my favorite things when it comes to Genie Plus. Previously, if you had booked something, you were locked into that thing, and then if you wanted to change it for, say, a different time or another attraction, you had to go in and cancel it and then rebook something, making it, 1, a 2-step process, and 2, oftentimes by the time you did that, the thing you wanted to rebook would be taken or would be missing. So the way the modify feature works is you can now adjust your lightning lanes within Genie Plus, not fancy rides, in 1 step, as long as you're in the same park. You cannot modify Kilimanjaro Safaris to Slinky Dog Dash. However, you can modify the time of Kilimanjaro Safaris to whatever is currently available, or to another attraction within Animal Kingdom based on availability, of course. When I booked Kilimanjaro Safaris earlier this morning, it gave me a very soon return time, and I knew I wasn't planning on being in the parks that early. So I kept an eye on it, and eventually I modified it to be at a time that I would be in the parks. And the best thing about the modify feature is it doesn't impact your 120 minutes. That 120 minutes has already started on the clock, and modifying it to another attraction or another time doesn't affect that, which is why always having a Genie Plus Lightning Lane is one of my best tips, because even if the ride you really want seems like it's sold out, even if the time available isn't ideal, you can try and modify it later, but you went ahead and started that 120-minute countdown, or you went ahead and locked in something, and you can always attempt to change it. That modify screen is where you're gonna really wanna use my favorite thing, the fiddle faddle, which is just refreshing the page, because as the inventory changes based on other people canceling, based on the crowd flow, you may be able to snag a better time or an attraction that looks like it was sold out if you're quick. So today, not only did I modify Kilimanjaro Safaris to be a little bit later, but I also ended up modifying that Slinky Dog Dash to be a little bit later. Got caught up doing emails and some other things at home, got a little bit later start than I planned on, and I didn't think I would make it over from Animal Kingdom to Hollywood Studios for that 2:10 Lightning Lane. So I went into modified Slinky Dog Dash to be a little bit later this evening, which I'm actually really jazzed about because I like it better at night. But one key takeaway from this is that modify is your best friend when working with Genie Plus. Always check and see if you can get something better, which we've been very lucky with today. So let's go on a safari. Kilimanjaro Safaris is the flagship attraction here in Animal Kingdom. It's very, very popular. Usually has a pretty long line. It's not super busy right now. It's kind of the hottest part of the day, so a lot of people have probably left this park already. But it's a family-friendly attraction. It's that 25 or so minute safari ride through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve where you're going to see the real animals such as giraffes and elephants and rhinos and lions and zebras. I absolutely adore it. It's the only attraction at Walt Disney World that's guaranteed to be completely different every time you ride it. And I'm excited to go.
So, biggest browsing spot, your favorite animal up in the mountains, able to go up
Attraction number 1 done. Love Kilimanjaro Safaris as predicted. Not the best time to go. Not a good look at the lions or the cheetahs, but always fun to go and see some elephants and rhinos, and I just adore that attraction. But truly, if you want the best time to go in Kilimanjaro Safaris, I recommend rope dropping it or getting there earlier in the morning. Next up, taking this lovely little path between Africa and Pandora, the world of Avatar, because it is time for my Flight of Passage Fancy Ride Lightning Lane. Now, unlike with the Genie Plus Lightning Lanes, Fancy Ride Lightning Lanes cannot be modified in any way. They cannot be canceled, they cannot be changed. It's like buying a movie ticket. You're locked in. So at 9 o'clock this morning, which is when Animal Kingdom opened, again, as a non-resort guest, that's when I was able to book it. The return times available for Flight of Passage were starting around 4 or so in the afternoon. And I knew that wouldn't work for me because I had already booked Rise of the Resistance for around that time. And I'm good, but I don't know if I'm that good to be in 2 places at once. So I didn't book Flight of Passage because my theme park brain knows that Flight of Passage doesn't sell out as quickly as Rise of the Resistance or Tron or Guardians of the Galaxy. And even further, it often comes back or new times show up. This was a gamble I decided to take. So I didn't book Flight of Passage right when I could. And I kept checking back every 20 minutes or so. And eventually a 12:50 to 1:50 time slot showed up. So I went ahead and locked that in. Just like Genie Plus, the fancy rides price varies by how busy it is. Basically surge pricing, which I don't love. I paid $22 for Genie Plus today, and I paid $14 for Flight of Passage. Flight of Passage is for sure the most popular ride in this park. It often has a wait over an hour, often over 90 minutes. I believe it was 90 minutes when I got into the park today. It is a 3D simulator where you are going to jump on the back of a Banshee and sail over the Valley of Moara, which is a location in the film Pandora. One thing about this movie is it has a very unique seat, so I highly recommend coming and checking out this test seat out front with the cast members before jumping in line to make sure you will be comfortable in that seat. It has an 80-minute line right now, so I am glad to have a lightning lane. And I guess it's time to Sivako, rise to the challenge. Flight of Passage has a 44.44-inch height requirement, which is tied for the tallest in the park, along with Expedition Everest, Legend of the Forbidden Mountain TM. Again, very, very popular, has an 80-minute wait right now. Early theme park entry is a perk of all Walt Disney World resort guests. It allows you 30 minutes extra access into the parks. So this is a good one to, head to first. Thank you. It also often drops in the afternoon. People tend to come to this park first because it closes the earliest. So people tend to come to Animal Kingdom and hop out into the other parks. If you do the opposite or come later in the day, you're more likely to see really low waits at most of the attractions in this park. So early, late, good times to ride it if you are unable to or don't want to purchase that fancy ride. What I will say, you do cut a lot of the queue off if you go in the Lightning Lane. You don't get to see the bioluminescent forest or the science lab, which is very cool. I like the giant avatar, but I also like not waiting for 80 minutes.
Welcome to the Avatar program. Soon, you're gonna have a chance to undertake an amazing Navi rite of passage, which look a lot like the Navi. They're created by blending human DNA and Navi DNA.
Para su seguridad, durante toda esta experiencia de verano.
came, we saw, we see code. It is a very cool attraction. I absolutely recommend making it a priority if you haven't been on it before. It's a lot of people's favorite ride in not only this park, but all of Walt Disney World. And it, again, I'm not a huge simulator person, but it is very, very cool. And it's also beautiful, and it smells good, and the music is lovely. High five, Joe. And now we are gonna pause for our first feeding. I placed a mobile order at my favorite quick service spot in the park while waiting to go in the link chamber. So gonna grab a little snacky snack, and then we'll be continuing on our way. Welcome in, friends, to Satuli Canteen. I haven't been here in a while. I'm so excited. This is, of course, the restaurant here in Pandora. Unlike the rest of the land, it's themed to when the RDA, who were the bad guys from the movie, have abandoned this place, and they have taken it over with the Alpha Centauri expeditions to make it a tourist destination. So it's like half natural Na'vi, half military vibes. And here at Satuli Canteen, they have some of the best quick service food in all of Disney World, in my opinion. They are most known for their bowls, where they have customizable bowls where you choose a base and a protein and a sauce, and you can do steak or chicken or tofu or shrimp. Really, really tasty. They've also got some fun drinks and desserts, very themed to Pandora, very unusual for theme park food. They brought out some newer options. It's been a while since they've come out, but they brought out some stuff for Way of Water. Now, normally, of course, I get cheeseburger pods, but today I thought I would try something new. I'm just kidding. I obviously got a cheeseburger pod. It's been a minute since I've had one. This is my favorite meal here. This is the cheeseburger pod kids meal, which I think is a perfect serving for a light lunch or a nice sneaky snack. When you get a kids meal, you get two sides. So I got one cutie and some of the house-made chips. You could get double of either. You get one cheeseburger pod and then a small drink. It can be a little bottle of water or a fountain drink. I got some iced tea. If you get the cheeseburger pods, make sure to ask for a side of the creamy herb dressing, which is like Pandora's Ranch. Instead of Hidden Valley, it's Moara Valley. You get it. It's been so long, I might cry. I've just been eating other stuff when I film here recently, but it's basically everything you love about a cheeseburger shoved into a delicious, tasty, sticky bao bun. So it's got the ground beef and the cheese and the pickles dipped into the ranch. They're just absolute perfection in my opinion. They're based on Joe Rohde, the lead Imagineer of this land and this park, his family recipe. They're fantastic. I cannot recommend them enough. I'm obsessed with them. And this will fuel us through the rest of Animal Kingdom. Cheeseburger pod consumed. Delicious as always. And now headed to my third lightning lane of the day. Gonna say hello to some very adorable mice. You may know them. I love that they have included character experiences as part of lightning lanes. You can meet Mickey and Minnie together. The only place you can guarantee to meet them together here in Animal Kingdom. Over at Hollywood Studios, you can meet Olaf with a lightning lane. Over at Magic Kingdom, you can meet a bunch of the princesses in Princess Fairy Tale Hall, as well as Mickey, as well as Ariel in her grotto. And if you're like me and you like meeting characters or your kids like meeting characters, I think it's great that if you're already paying for Genie Plus, you can lock in sometimes to see them and not have to wait in the long lines they normally have. So we are here at Adventures Outpost. Again, this is the only place you can meet Mickey and Minnie together. Because of that, it normally gets a longer line. It's 45 minutes right now. It also is one of the first lightning lanes to go in this park. So it should be one of your top priorities if you're planning on using Genie Plus. It's like this, Na'vi River Journey and Safaris usually go the fastest. And because I tapped in here at Mickey and Minnie, I can now book another one. It says you can book now. I'm not actually gonna book something in this park. I'm gonna go ahead and start booking more stuff for Hollywood Studios. So remember, I've got Rise of the Resistance already booked. I've got Slinky Dog Dash booked. I would like to do Mickey and Minnie's over there. I might like to do Tower of Terror, Toy Story Mania. I think I'm gonna go ahead and lock in Tower of Terror since that one's 5:30. That's the furthest away. Wanna make sure I can get that done. Now I'm gonna go back to view my day and click over to the tip board and it'll let me know when I can book another one. 5:19, so I'm gonna set an alarm for 5:18 so that way I'm ready to book one right when I'm able to. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Here we go. Thank you. Hi, Minnie. How are you? Hi, Minnie. I love your safari outfits. You look so nice. Oh, thank you, Minnie. You like those? Oh yeah, I'm ready for my safari as well. What's your favorite animal to see on the safari? The giraffes? too. The elephants. I saw the elephants. They're so cute. I like the hyenas. Yeah, they're my favorite. Can we take a picture? All right, right here. Oh, thank you. Mickey and Minnie are just so darn cute. And speaking of cute, look who it is. Hi, Kevin. Hi. Oh my gosh, your little wing flap. You're so cute. I love exploring as well, Kevin. Bye. Oh my gosh, Kevin is the coolest. You can see her just wandering about Asia and Discovery Island sometimes. Anyway, 2 attractions left here at Animal Kingdom, and I'm not going to use Lightning Lane for either because I don't need to. I've said it before and I'll say it again. In my opinion, the best way to get the most done during your days here is to not use one method of getting onto the attractions. Combine methods of getting onto the attractions. Use standby, which is just your regular line. Use Genie Plus Lightning Lanes. Use fancy rides. Use single rider. Use every tool in your tool belt, if you will, to get on as many rides as you can. Knowing which attractions you should prioritize with Genie Plus or fancy ride versus rope dropping versus knowing they might be a good filler ride, which is my term for just an attraction that usually doesn't have too long of a wait and is a good attraction to do in between some of the bigger rides or the rides with longer waits. All of those things can really help. So here at Animal Kingdom, Dinosaur is a great filler ride. Even though it's one of my favorite rides here, it usually doesn't get too long of a line. And Expedition Everest can be a great filler ride. For example, right now, Everest only has a 30-minute wait, which isn't too bad. Plus, there's a single rider line, which I'm going to use, which means I'm just filling in spots on the vehicle. Since I'm single here anyway, why not take advantage of that? And because I'm not wasting a Lightning Lane on Everest or Dinosaur here, I was able to go ahead and book that Tower of Terror at Hollywood Studios, kick off that 120-minute rule again. That way I'll be able to grab a few more over there because that is definitely the park with the higher wait times. Isn't the detail in this park just amazing? It blows my mind every time. I've done 2 secrets videos here where I talk about the details and the backstory of the attractions and the lands, but I just love like these prayer flags that they use in the Asia section. I love how everything looks old and worn and rusted and like it's been here for a long time, even though this park's only 25 years old. Expedition Everest, Legend of the Forbidden Mountain TM. It's a 44.44-inch height requirement. And while it is very popular and very fun and definitely a must-do for me at this park, it doesn't normally get as long of a line as some of the other rides in the park just because of the high capacity and how quickly they're able to get guests in and on the vehicles. In fact, it looks like it's a walk-on right now. I think 30 minutes is dramatic. But again, you can do a standby line here, which is just the regular queue. It is part of Genie Plus. It's a good choice of Genie Plus once you've already done your Tier 1 attractions at this park, which I would consider Kilimanjaro Safaris, Navi River Journey, and Meeting Mickey and Minnie. I would put this as a Tier 2 attraction. And then again, it also has a single rider line, which is what I'm headed into. Single rider lines are available at certain attractions, and basically you're just filling in with odd numbered parties. So you're not going to get any choice of where you sit in the vehicle, and you will also be separated from your party. However, it can usually go much faster than a standby line. So if it's a busy day and you want to re-ride it, you've already used a Lightning Lane, or you just don't want to wait in standby, it can be a good option. Oh, Expedition Everest, one of the absolute best. I love it so much. I haven't been on it in forever. Whew. Sometimes people ask me if I get sick of coming to the parks or riding the rides or riding them over and over again. And the truth is, no. but it's because, one, I don't go to the parks as much as I used to. Part of the reason Mammoth Club exists was to be able to do other things than just the Disney World parks or just the Orlando parks. So we've been very lucky to do traveling recently and some non-theme park experiences, which makes it even more fun to come to the parks because it's like they're always fresh and new or fresher and newer. And I also don't usually ride things unless they're for the video. And just the recent videos I've done in this park haven't included Everest. And so, God, that ride is so fun, isn't it? Like, I forgot how fun it was. I didn't really, but I love it so much. And that gave me a lot of joy. Also, single rider took like maybe 4 minutes. And now headed to our final attraction here at Animal Kingdom, and the sky is looking a little cranky, so hoping to get over to Hollywood Studios before it starts raining too much, or at least get to my car where my rain jacket is. Headed over to Dinosaur, one of my low-key favorites here. I just think real animatronics like giant Carnotauruses are so cool and so fun. And it's thrilling, and it's dark, and it's loud, and a lot of people don't like it for that reason, but I love Dinosaur. Dinosaur has a 40-inch height requirement, and even though it's lower than Flight of Passage or Expedition Everest, it tends to terrify more people just because of all the reasons I just listed. Loud, dark, giant dinosaurs. So keep that in mind when you're planning out your day if you've got little ones. Dinosaur can get a longer line, but usually these days it's less than 30 minutes. If it's a pretty average park day, aka not like a holiday, and you see it more than 30 minutes, just wait a little bit, it should drop. This is a great filler attraction to do between some of the lightning lanes or shows you may want to take on. And if you do want to use a lightning lane just because you've purchased Genie Plus and why not, or it is a busier day, this is about a tier 3. I would prioritize Expedition Everest and Festival of the Lion King over this, but right now it's 10 minutes, which is going to be a walk-on, and let's go get that dino. If you've got time too, and there's not a queue like right now, take a look at some of these exhibits that Dr. Marsh is going to reference in a little bit in the pre-show, because these are real dinosaur things. Some of them are cast, some of them are real, but they are on loan from various museums and natural societies and things around the world. And I don't know about you, but it is very hard for me to like wrap my brain around how old things are. For example, number 3 is a pair of raptor teeth. And it doesn't say cast like a lot of them, which means it is the original. Look at those. Those are real raptor teeth. And like no one stops to look at these. What's this one? 6. That's huge. 6. That's a Tyrannosaurus Rex tooth cast. But still, look how big that is. That's bananas to me. Yikes. But again, I feel like no one stops to look at this kind of stuff because everyone's excited for the ride, as you should be. So see, if you are into dinosaurs or you've got a dinosaur-loving friend or family member, take a look at this. I really can't. This is like being at the Natural Museum of History in New York again. My brain, it's a very hard time realizing how old things are. Over here, look at number 7. A Mosasaurus jaw. And number 3 is a Mosasaurus vertebrae. Now I know what a Mosasaurus is because I've seen Jurassic World, but oh my God. Wait, this isn't a lightning lane, so I don't want to cheat. Shark teeth. Look it. Amazing. This is cool. And yep, 10 minutes means walk on, which means you literally just keep walking onto the ride or into the pre-show. Thank you.
Quaint exhibits in the old way. That's how dinosaurs have been presented to the public since the study of fossils began over 150 years ago. Today, that bare bones approach is about to become extinct.
And don't worry about that asteroid. You'll be in and out of there before it even breaks the atmosphere. Trust me. What could go wrong?
This is Seeker. Listen up. We've got to get in, grab the iguanodon, and get out before that asteroid hits.
Your shower in range.
Just little one.
Hadrosaur.
Identify! This one's a vegetarian.
I just adore that attraction. But I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bummed because there were a couple dinosaurs that were sleepy today. And I want them to all move and I want this ride to never go away, even though I fear a little bit for its future sometimes. That wraps up our 5 attractions here at Animal Kingdom. I don't think you need Genie Plus in this park if you're only going to this park and it's not a super busy time of year. I've been here about 3 hours. I've ridden 4 of the most popular rides in the park, including the 25-minute safari, plus met Mickey and Minnie, plus had a snack, so that's pretty good. None of the lines were too long except for Flight of Passage, so I do think if you're coming on an Animal Kingdom day only and you don't want to get Genie Plus, you probably won't need it, and maybe just splurge for Flight of Passage if you don't want to wait in that long line either. I do think, however, if you are splitting your day starting at Animal Kingdom, you can stack for the next park, whichever one that may be, that usually has longer lines, and then that way you enjoy a leisurely Animal Kingdom first half of the day, and you've got several things lined up when you get to your second park. Had to pause for a little dance break with Viva Gaia, who's doing a beautiful Encanto melody. Loved it. We love Streetmosphere. Now it is starting to spin a little bit, so I am going to dash to my car and head over to Hollywood Studios. I'll see you there. Made it to Hollywood Studios, specifically to Baseline Tap House before it started raining. I'm going to continue going to Galaxy's Edge because I do have that Rise Lightning Lane, but I'm hoping if that very gray, dark part of the sky right there opens up, it's while I'm on Rise, and then that's a 22-minute attraction, and then it'll be done by the time I get off. So fingers crossed. You know I'm serious about not getting wet and avoiding this big storm if I pull over to Baseline just to gear up and not get a beer at a charcuterie. Rise of the Resistance is for sure the most popular ride, not only here in Hollywood Studios, but in all of Walt Disney World. It's hard to even call it a ride. It's a 22-minute experience. It involves multiple different ride systems, trackless technology, amazing animatronics, and it is so immersive. Puts you right in between a battle of the First Order and the Resistance. It's amazing, and even if you're not a Star Wars person, you should absolutely prioritize it. Now again, Rise is a fancy ride, so resort guests can buy it at 7, non-resort guests can buy it at the time the park opened, which for me today was at 8:30. Now because of that, if it is busier, there is a chance that non-resort guests will not get the chance to buy Rise Lightning Lanes because they'll sell out from just the resort guests. If you are unable to buy a Rise Lightning Lane or you don't want to spend the money on a Rise Lightning Lane, it was $22 for me today, then I would recommend rope dropping as a resort guest for that early theme park admission, and rope drop for non-resort guests. It will be a little bit longer than if you were a resort guest, but it will likely be shorter than the wait that it is going to get to later. Right now it's a 75-minute wait, which is actually not that long for Rise. Most of the time it's 2 hours, and I've seen it upwards of 4.
Has infiltrated a First Order Star Destroyer.
Engage repulsors and hold on, recruits. All ships launch. Star Destroyers. This is TR-141. We are a civilian vessel. Stand back from those doors.
Resistance sympathizers.
Lieutenant back here. I should hope so. Bravo. Yes.
That truly is the most amazing attraction, and my dream did come true because it was apparently pouring rain while I was on the ride, not really raining as much anymore. I'm gonna head to the marketplace to get a little snicky snack number 2 and wait out any remainder of the rain. And also it's almost time for me to book another lightning lane. So currently I have Tower of Terror booked at 5:30, but I'm able to book another one because my last 120 minutes is up. Another tip I have when using the Genie app is make sure that you do the plan your day. You'll get started on either the My Disney Genie Day or the home screen. You'll be able to select what park you're going to, which attractions are your favorites that you care about, and that'll pin them to the top of the tip board. And then you can do the same thing at the park you're park hopping to as well from the My Day tab. This means whatever you're prioritizing will be at the top of the tip board, which makes it easier to pick things when booking your next lightning lane. And then what I like to do is remove things as the day goes on so they're not cluttering up my top feed. So I don't need to see Rise of the Resistance anymore since we already rode that. I already have Slinky Dog booked. I already have Tower of Terror booked. We can unclick all of those. Now looking at what I want to book though, I really want to do Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So I'm going to go ahead and book that for whatever time is available, 6:55. It did swap to 6:50, 5 minutes better. We'll take it. And now I'm going to try and modify it in real time. In a dream, I would get it before Tower of Terror because I'm headed to Tower of Terror next, and that's all the way on Sunset, so it'd be nice to make a pit stop at the Chinese theater, but we'll see if that's possible while I'm in line. Well, I modified my Mickey and Minnie's, and I started scooting my way to Sunset, trying to beat the next batch of rain, but it caught me. So now I'm just hiding at ABC Commissary, waiting for it to stop and eating my cat Sackas. Cat Sackas Outpost Mix is another of my favorite Disney snacks. You can only get it here in Galaxy's Edge. You can't even get it in Disneyland. The red kernels are chili lime. The purple kernels are blueberry lemon pound cake. So together it tastes like kind of spicy tricks and it's amazing. But for some reason there are some haters. But I am the president of the Cat Sackas fan club. So if you like it, join the club. It's like a club within a club. You know what I mean? It's so good. Also, I was able to move Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway up from 6:50 to 6:05, which means I still have about 25 minutes. So as long as the rain slows down, I'm gonna just go ahead and knock out Tower of Terror. Tower of Terror's on Sunset, which is a dead end. I'm gonna have to walk all the way there at some point anyway, just to knock that one out. Might as well go do it now, and then I'll come back to do Mickey and Minnie's, and then I'll figure out something else to do. And remember, we have Slinky Dog too, weather permitting. It's still spitting a little bit, but it's not too bad, so we're making a break for it to get to Tower. I do find that using Genie Plus at this park more than the others, I ping pong a little bit back and forth between areas. That's partly because there are so many bangers in this park. There are so many must-do heavy hitter rides that a lot of people want to book lightning lanes for. You're a little bit more at the mercy of the Genie for the times that are available for those attractions. I also think in general, this park has the least cohesive layout with dead ends that you don't see at the other parks. So, especially with Rock and Roller Coaster down right now, it's like you go all the way down Sunset Boulevard just to ride Tower, and then you gotta come back to do everything else. So, it's not impossible to make a more cohesive plan at this park. Tower and Sunset in general are like a little branch down the side, so unless it was later and I was gonna do Fantasmic right after or something, this is kind of my only option. Also though, if you wanted to make it a little more cohesive and not have to walk all the way from Galaxy's Edge to Sunset Boulevard, I had time to stop at like Muppet Vision 3D, could have stopped at Baseline and actually had a snack or a drink, could stop in some shops. You can break up your long journeys if you don't want to move all the way across the park. But I'm trying to get these 4 other things done before it really rains. The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, definitely a fan favorite. 44 0-inch height requirement, looms over the end of Sunset Boulevard, opened in 1994. This is that 199-foot tall, 13-story drop elevator attraction. The story is that on Halloween night, 1939, the tower is hit by lightning, and then some members of the ritzy Hollywood squad head to the Twilight Zone, and now you're gonna meet them there. Tower of Terror is, of course, incredibly popular, a very good choice of a Genie Plus lightning lane at this park. Your number 1 should be Slinky Dog Dash, but this is a very good choice for your number 2 when you're booking Genie Plus attractions in this park. One thing I will forever be obsessed with at this attraction is the level of detail in every part of this queue specifically. Like the pre-show room, the library is amazing. This boiler room is amazing. The misty garden today was amazing, even more than normal. It's just unbelievable, the detail. And one thing I love to point out is that those cobwebs are made out of human hair, skin cells, etc. Because basically they use like a hot glue gun to make the stringy webbiness, and then just natural things like dust and dirt and human skin cells cling to it. And that's what makes the cobwebs here and Haunted Mansion. You're welcome. For more fun facts, watch our secrets videos.
You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the twilight.
You were the passengers of the most uncommon elevator about to ascend.
Tower of Terror complete. What an excellent attraction. I wish it was a little longer. That's one of the reasons I do like Mission Breakout out in California Adventure a little bit better than this one, just because I think it's longer and it's more fun in my opinion, but an absolute must-do of an attraction. Very, very delightful. Tower of Terror, check it off the list. Such an iconic attraction. The detail second to none. Amazing. I've got good news, I've got bad news, I've got more good news. First good news, it stopped raining, and hopefully it'll stay this way because I hate getting wet. Also, hold on. I feel as though too often people do not appreciate Tower of Terror from the side right here. People love it from the front, but look at the detail from the side. Just looking at the intricate column work, looking at the cracks on the actual tower itself where the lightning hit. The forced perspective is amazing. Chef's kiss. Now, the bad news. I got a notification from Disney that Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is temporarily closed, which, as you might remember, I just booked a lightning lane for. When an attraction temporarily closes that you have a lightning lane for, Disney will automatically issue you an experience redemption pass. Now, this is not the same thing as a lightning lane. It kind of lives over in its own world. As Alan would say, it's sitting at its own lunch table. The experience redemption pass can be used at the attraction, so in this case, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, at any time for the rest of the day, should it come back up from its technical difficulties, or there are a list of other attractions you can use it on. Now, you can't use it everywhere, so make sure to check that list. Like, you can't go ride Rise of the Resistance again because Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is down. But I can use it pretty much anywhere else other than there, and Slinky Dog, and Tower of Terror. And because of this, the other bonus good news is that because that's not considered a lightning lane, I can go ahead and book another lightning lane, which I went ahead and did for Toy Story Mania. So now, I've got Toy Story Mania for like right now. I've got Slinky Dog for in about 20 or 25 minutes, and it has come back up from the rain, which is amazing. And then I've got this like floaty experience redemption pass for Mickey and Minnie's whenever that decides to cooperate. Turns out I lied to you. Not about most of that. Everything I said was true and I meant it to be true. But the reason I lied is, as I was walking over here, I noticed they were reopening Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that experience redemption first and then end in Toy Story Land. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway has a lot of downtimes as well. I believe it's because of the trackless technology. If anything falls on the track, they have to get it off of there or it will ruin the cars. So it's been down like 2 or 3 times since I've been here, and it doesn't take very long for it to come back up, but still, I don't want to risk it going down again. So I'm gonna ride this first, plus I'm hoping it gets a little darker by the time I get to do Slinky Dog, because I love Slinky at night. Hello. Thank you. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is a super duper cute family attraction, no height requirement. I think it was really needed in this park of so many thrill rides. But even though it doesn't have a height requirement, you're gonna be amazed at how much these cars can do and how exciting this attraction is. I think it's super cute. I love the music. There's so many Easter eggs and details and fun things to look for. This has become one of my favorite attractions, no cap.
Welcome aboard, folks. We're ready for a relaxing ride around the park.
There they are! We have to stop them from moving all over!
One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. Oh, excellent! You're all now, let's come down!
Nothing can stop us now. I'm so
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway Check. That is such a cute attraction. I just love it. Also though, the pre-show wasn't working, which was interesting. I wonder if that's why it had a downtime earlier. Who knows? But you just like walked through the pre-show and there was like a little announcement like, gosh, Goofy made a mistake and now you're gonna go in the cartoon. So it's a cool pre-show, but that's all right. We're headed to Toy Story Land now. Try not to get distracted by the fact they're doing a sneak preview of Little Mermaid at Walt Disney Presents. But you know what, I'll save it for the movie theater. Final 2 attractions at this park. Coming in hot. And it's gonna be great because it's getting darker and darker and this land is the cutest at night. Toy Story Land. So adorable. You have been shrunk down to the size of a toy in Andy's backyard. Of course, the newest addition to the backyard is Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, the all-you-care-to-enjoy sit-down barbecue restaurant. I went there for a video not too long ago if you want to check my review. I did like that macaroni and cheese and the potatoes. Those were my favorite parts. Toy Story Mania. You're gonna play carnival games with your favorite characters like ring toss with Buzz and the aliens, balloon pop with Trixie and Rex, plate break with the Green Army Men. Hello, sir.
To infinity and beyond.
Jesse. Toy Story Mania really varies on the wait a lot more than other attractions in the park. Sometimes I'll see it really long, well over an hour on a busy day. Sometimes it's 20 minutes. Right now it's 35 minutes, which is kind of average for the wait times I'm seeing. So it's not a bad one to use the lightning lane on. In this park, your number 1 priority is gonna be Slinky Dog Dash, and then Tower of Terror, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Those are gonna be like your top priorities here. Rock and Roller Coaster, if it was open, would be in there. Then Toy Story Mania, then attractions like Star Tours, Meeting Olaf, some of the shows. The only downside about using the lightning lane though is that you don't get to see Mr. Potato Head, and he's really cool. Now at this point, I could book something else if I wanted to. Taking a look at the wait times, it's about 7:30 at night on a Tuesday. And without any fiddle faddling, you could still book Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, you could still book this, you could still book Alien Swirling Saucers, you could still book Smuggler's Run. I can't see Slinky Dog since I have one booked. You could still buy Rise and you could still book Tower of Terror. So that's not too shabby. Obviously we've done a lot of these already, but the point is you can just keep going and keep booking until everything runs out or the park's closed. Story Mania complete. Such a cute attraction. I didn't do as well as I normally do because I was trying to actually get some footage of it. Who knows if it's good or not in the chaos, but I was still best in vehicle, so I'll take it. One last attraction to complete our lovely day, and it's time to race with Slinky Dog. It's starting to spit again. I hope it doesn't start raining again. Slinky Dog Dash has a 38-inch height requirement. Certainly the most popular attraction on Genie Plus in this park. On an average day or a busy day, it will sell out for the entire day within a few minutes of 7 a.m. So if this is one you want to ride and one you want to use that lightning lane on, you should make this your priority right at 7 a.m. Now remember, I did book this just a few minutes after 7 a.m. I had to wait for the return times to be 2 p.m. or later, which was like 7:03. They had already filled all the spots till 2 p.m. because I was hopping into this park. So don't forget that. Slinky Dog Dash has a 38-inch height requirement. And even today, which is a somewhat slow day and a lot of people left because of the rain, still has a 90-minute standby line. But isn't it funny that the ride I booked first, I'm now riding like 12 and a half hours later? Isn't that just silliness? To be fair, I did modify it. This afternoon when I was looking at what was available and what time I was able to book everything, I knew I would not be here at 2:10, so I did modify it to be the 7 o'clock hour, but still. I just love this coaster. It's not only adorable, obviously, like this entire land. Not only did Andy set this up himself in the backyard with his Dash and Dodge car track, but he's got Rex and Jessie and Jenga and Christmas lights and all kinds of things out here to decorate toy boxes. Everywhere you look in this land, it's just so detailed. It's adorable. One of my favorite details I like to point out is the Wheezy box right here. We meet Wheezy in Toy Story 2. He gets more of a starring role. And clearly Andy got him, or Andy's mom got him at Al's Toy Barn, everything for a buck. But more importantly, in Toy Story 2, Wheezy's squeaker isn't working. And it turns out you're actually not supposed to get him in water, as it says right here on the box, which is a little surprising. My guess is Andy or Molly, his sister, took this squeaky penguin bath toy into the bath. And well, it didn't work. That ride is so cute. One of my favorite details that no one pays attention to is the fact that Slinky's little tail actually wiggles because it's on a Slinky. It is just the cutest attraction. It is so much fun. It makes me giggle hysterically. It's definitely a little more intense than it looks. I always say it has more bark than it looks like it might have. So it's a good step up from like the Barn Store, but I don't think it's quite Big Thunder Mountain Railroad yet if you're kind of wanting to gauge how intense it'll be. But it is so cute, and it's especially so amazing at night. This whole land is so gorgeous, all lit up, and what a great way to end the day. So to recap our day, we did 2 parks, 10 attractions, 2 snacks. This park took me about 3 3/4 hours to get through 5 of the most popular rides, not only here, but in Walt Disney World, plus have a snack, and that included a little hideout from the rain. So I'd say it was a very successful day. Again, mixing Genie Plus lightning lanes, fancy rides, standby, and single rider. That's truly the way to go. Don't limit yourself to one form of rides. Know which rides to aim for with Genie Plus, know which fancy rides to aim for, and then which rides you have single rider if that's an option for your family, or which rides aren't gonna get too long of a line in standby. And truly, if you mix all those things together, you can get a lot done. But my number 1 tip for anyone visiting the parks is make a list of the most important things to you and your family in each park. the handful of attractions, snacks, and entertainment that if you don't do them, it will ruin your vacation. Make a plan to get those things done first. Anything else is cherries on top. I think I'm gonna start saying anything else is cheese on top because I'm not so much a sweets girly as a savory girly. And for me, if you can sprinkle like some Parmesan or something on top, that's what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna petition to start this phrase, cheese on top. Well, friends, that is a wrap on this Park Hopper Challenge. Let me know what other park combinations you want to see down below. What other videos do you want in general? Let us know that as well. In the meantime, friends, make sure to rate, review, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media, come hang out with us in Discord. We have a lot of fun there with our community. And until next time, friends, I'm Molly, and it has been so magical. Bye.